So this little video is about the top of the pocket. So what I've done here is I've folded the seam allowance over, and then I've folded a little bit back. And then what happens next is you sew down the edges here where the seam allowance is, and what you end up with is, when you've turned it through, it's a nice little pocket like this. Let's turn it back out again. Sew one side back out again. So when you've sewn it, that's what each side looks like. You see, I've just sewn the seam allowance in there. That's what each side looks like. And then when I turn it through, show you the other side that's turned through, I've got a really nice tidy end with no bits and pieces flapping around that I've got to worry about later on. Also, what's really quite nice is it's started to turn my seam allowance in, so when I come to iron that, that's now a lot easier, less likely to burn my fingers, because that little system there has solved that problem for me. So let's have a look again. We are going to turn it over, the whole seam allowance, and turn up a little extra. We're going to, get my fingers in the way, don't I? Sew down here and here through all layers where the seam allowance is. We're going to turn it through. Well, this is what it looks like where it's been sewn. It's not focusing very well, is it? Down there. And then when we turn it through, what it looks like is this. I've got no tatty edges. I've got a bit of thread, which I shall sort out in a minute. No tatty edges, and it started to fold the seam allowance in for me, so that's going to be easy to iron. This also works for the hem and the edge of the vent scenario. So I might do it when I get to that point, but it's exactly the same kind of situation, so that at the bottom here everything's nicely enclosed. Hope that helps.